On the morning of September 20th, 1918, a young Capuchin friar was kneeling in prayer before a crucifix in the choir loft of a small church in southern Italy. He was alone. When his brothers found him later that morning, he was unconscious on the floor. His hands, feet, and side were bleeding from wounds that had not been there the night before. The wounds would remain for 50 years. They would bleed on and off almost every day of his life. No doctor could close them. No treatment could heal them. And when he died in 1968, they vanished from his body entirely, leaving skin so perfect it looked as though the wounds had never existed. His name was Francesco Fergione. The world would come to know him as Padre Pio. He was born in 1887 in a small farming village in the Italian countryside. His parents were poor but devout. His mother later said he had been a strange child, quiet, solemn, given to long periods of prayer. He claimed even as a boy to see angels and to speak with Christ and the Virgin Mary. His family did not find this unusual. They assumed every child saw such things and that most simply chose not to mention it. He entered the Capuchin order at 15. He was ordained a priest at 23. And almost from the beginning of his religious life, strange things followed him. Brother friars reported hearing voices in his cell when he was alone. They spoke of loud thuds, of furniture moving, of Pio emerging from his room bruised and exhausted, claiming he had been beaten in the night by demons. His superiors, uncertain what to make of him, moved him from friary to friary. He was frequently ill. He ran fevers so high that thermometers broke against his skin, a phenomenon documented by multiple physicians who could offer no explanation. And then came the morning of September 20th. The stigmata, wounds resembling those of the crucified Christ, were not unknown in Catholic history. Saint Francis of Assisi had received them 700 years earlier. Others had followed. But Padre Pio's were different in one crucial respect. They did not heal. For half a century, they bled, sometimes a few drops, sometimes enough to soak through bandages and stain his habit. The wounds on his hands passed completely through his palms. Witnesses who looked closely claimed they could see light through the openings. The wound in his side, he said, hurt the most. The Vatican, wary of fraud and hysteria, ordered him examined repeatedly. Physicians came from across Europe. They probed the wounds, studied the tissue, monitored him for weeks at a time. Their reports were consistent and, to them, baffling. The wounds showed no signs of infection. They did not close. They did not spread. They did not behave like any wound medical science had catalogued. One doctor, sent by the Holy See, specifically to expose him as a fraud, concluded his report by requesting reassignment. He said he could not write what he had seen and remain a rational man. The stigmata were only the beginning. Over the course of his life, Padre Pio was credited with phenomena that read like a catalog of the impossible. He was said to bilocate, to appear in two places at once. Pilots during the Second World War reported seeing a monk in the sky over San Giovanni Rotondo, where his friary stood. American soldiers stationed in the region investigated and found a man who matched their description exactly. A small, bearded friar who had not left his monastery in decades. He was said to read souls. Penitents arriving at his confessional found that he already knew their sins before they spoke. He would correct them, sometimes sharply, when they left anything out. Some left his presence weeping. Some refused to return. Some converted on the spot and spent the rest of their lives in his shadow. He was said to emit a fragrance, a sweetness, like flowers or incense, that clung to him and to objects he had touched. The phenomenon has a name in Catholic mystical theology, the odor of sanctity. Thousands of witnesses over 50 years reported experiencing it. He was said to heal. The archives of his friary hold thousands of documented cases: blindness reversed, tumors disappeared, children pulled back from death. The Vatican's official canonization process, which is exhaustive and skeptical by design, verified 2 of them beyond medical explanation. He was also, by every account, a difficult man. He was short-tempered. He threw people out of his confessional. He refused to suffer fools and said so plainly. He endured decades of suspicion from his own superiors, who at various points forbade him from saying public mass, from hearing confessions, from writing letters. He obeyed without protest and suffered the humiliation in silence. When he was finally vindicated late in his life, he did not celebrate. He said only that obedience was more important than being believed. He spent the rest in prayer, in confession, in the care of the sick. He founded a hospital. He founded prayer groups that now number in the millions. He said Mass every morning for decades, and those who attended said the Mass took hours because he would fall into ecstasy at the consecration and be unable to continue for long stretches of silence. He died on September 23, 1968. He was 81 years old. On his deathbed, the wounds that had bled for 50 years closed. His skin, witnesses reported, became as smooth as a child's. There were no scars. There was no mark at all to show that anything had ever happened to him. He was canonized a saint in 2002 by Pope John Paul II before a crowd of 300,000 in St. Peter's Square. His feast day is September 23rd, the day he died and the day his wounds disappeared. Those who knew him said he had lived for 50 years inside the Passion of Christ, that the wounds were not a sign, they were a participation, that somewhere in the mystery of what Christians call the communion of saints, one man had been permitted to carry in his own flesh the suffering of another. He was once asked whether the wounds hurt. He answered, "Do you think the Lord gave them to me for decoration?"
The sky is cold and gray.